Welcome back. Battery died. Typical. Anyway, as I was saying, because you can't get hold of your own mash tun, you've got to make your own. And you do this by buying a cooler. Now, where exactly I got this cooler, I will post at the bottom of this video. And a link so you can go and get one yourself. It's about 250 shekel. Happened to me on a deal. I'm not sure it's still going to be around when you're looking to buy it. But you can get them in most hardware places like Home Centre, Ace, etc. Blah blah. Probably for twice the amount of money, mind you. Right, now, first thing I did with this cooler is removed the big handles. We don't need it now. We're not going on a picnic. The next thing I did with this cooler, and I'll show you by just turning this around if I can. No, I'm not sure I can. But here, the first thing I did was I got a tap. Okay, I'm not sure what this is called exactly. This kind of tap. I've got the receipts here and I'll post up everything in Hebrew afterwards at the bottom. But this tap here is sort of like a hose tap. It's quite simple. And I hammered it through. It's a number 3 in size. And I hammered it through the hole. Now what was in this hole beforehand to drain it was a very simple drainage plug. Like this. Okay? Okay, that's what it looked like. So there's absolutely no problem taking it out. You don't need screws, you don't need anything. You just unscrew it and you're left with a hole. Okay, now I actually cannot re-demonstrate how I did it because it took me a while to sort of ram it right through the hole. And the neighbours will probably get a little bit pissed off if I start banging again. Right. Sealing, watertight. My hose end, my hose tap, I use some Teflon tape. Get yourself some of this. Imperative to make sure you don't have any leaks. Now, the most important thing, and the whole idea behind the mash tun is that you cannot let your liquid mix with your grains pour through the tap. Okay? Imperative. You've got to sparge it. The process of sparging, if you don't know what that is, we'll go through it another time. But you've got to sparge water, or liquor as they call it in beer terms. And you've got to make sure that it starts running clear once you're done with it. Now in order to do that, you need to filter the liquid from the malt. Okay? This bad boy is just the ticket. Now I was going to make this myself. I was actually going to take, you know, those pipes used for washing machines, where you've got the plastic hose inside, and then outside you've got this sort of metal mesh netting. And I was going to chop off both ends, something I'd seen on YouTube. Pull out the rubber tubing, seal the ends, and then essentially have the same thing. But this is far better, far more secure. Now I got this from Beer and Beyond. Okay, I think they've gotten it from America because that is brass. Okay, actually, mind you, they could have gotten it anywhere in Europe, but that is brass. It's not stainless steel, so I'm assuming it's not manufactured here in Israel. Anyway, what this net will do is serve as a sieve. Okay, to let the liquid pour through and leave out, so you don't get any of the malts and the grains themselves pouring through. Now, we need to attach this to the tap. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. The way I did it was as follows. Firstly, I got a bit of extension pipe. Now the size for this is a number 2 because if you remember, our tap is a size 3. The 2's got to go into it, so that's number 1. An extension plastic piping. And again, what that is called in Hebrew when you're looking for it, I will write at the bottom, or rather my wife will because I can't type in Hebrew, and you can go and find it yourself. Now, attached to that, we need an extension piece because after a lot of swearing, revisiting this store, and general frustration, actually revisiting 3 stores, I worked out that this whole plumbing malarkey is not as complicated as it seems. Okay, this is actually stainless steel. They don't have this piece. This is simply an extension, making it longer. So I attach this extension to the end of here. And the reason why I've done that is because the piece that I showed you earlier, the filter, needs to screw itself in as well. Okay, and it can't screw here because that is an end bit. So I've got an extension here, and then finally, so I'll just screw that on. Finally, there's this little knob piece here that takes it down from a size 2 to a size 1. So you take this and you screw that onto the end of here. Okay? Quite simple. Again, all the pieces for these will be labelled in Hebrew and in English, mind you, in the description of this video. Okay, now, the idea is that I'm now going to attach this filter to here. Okay? That's a screwy piece, that's not a screw piece, not to worry. Got a solution for that as well. Okay? As follows. This is another thingy-majingy, right? Another plumbing piece of magic. This is going to seal our filter onto our pipe. Screw, loosen it up. What happens there, if you can see, is that I'm just letting it out a bit. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. There we go. Okay. Now then, if I can just find filter and stick it onto the end of here. And we're going to squash, ever so gently, the brass onto this end here. Okay? Okay, so this is what I'm building. Okay? Once that is tight, you're going to tighten this up. Okay? The only problem with what I've just shown you now is I've done it all outside of the cooler, which is rubbish, because I can't twist this entire contraption into the cooler whilst I'm tightening it to the tap on this end. So I'm going to press pause, I'm going to do it again inside the cooler and show you what I've come up with. See you in a minute.